name is Kayode Omoregie. I teach finance and strategy here at the Lagos Business School, and I'll be discussing about strategy execution from a change management perspective. Strategy is critical to every organization. It's essentially how a company develops competitive advantage over its rivals on a sustainable basis. The problem is that strategy without proper execution cannot lead to the intended results. So the proper and successful execution of strategy is critical to the success of every organization. To understand this change management perspective, one should understand exactly why strategy execution tends to fail. And research does suggest that the failure rate for strategy execution is quite high. There are a number of reasons, but two that stand out in my mind is the one that, first and foremost, when management is trying to conceive strategy, they tend to think of strategy and its execution as two separate things. The truth of the matter is that they are inextricably linked, and you necessarily must be thinking about strategy execution at the same time when you're thinking of designing the strategy. The other element is that strategy requires that an organization changes the way it does things, and so we must think of strategy as a change management initiative. When these two things are in place, it can help the process of successful strategy implementation. Now, when we talk about strategy execution from a change management perspective, there are about 4 elements that drive this. These elements are leadership, they are a dissatisfaction with the status quo, a compelling vision of the future, and then, of course, a process for executing strategy. And let's take each one of these elements. Leadership is at the center of strategy design and execution. Is the responsibility of the highest level of management. But of course, they can't do this alone. So the very first thing that leadership must be able to recognize is who are potential change champions or change champions within the context of the organization. These are people who, one, understand the need for this strategy change, buy into the whole process, and have the skills and competencies required to make it happen. You need a critical mass of these people to help you sell that strategy, to help you sell the change initiative, and to help you make it happen. The second set of people you must think about are those we call potential change champions. Now, these ones, for the time being, do not have probably the buying or the understanding of the skills and competencies, but they have the right attitude and are willing to learn. And if you apply, some engagement with them, they will become change champions, and you begin to build the pool of people that will help you make strategic change happen. The third set of people that leadership must recognize very quickly are those we call resistors. The resistors are people who will resist change. These are people who don't have a buy-in. These are people who don't have an understanding of why we need to change, and they don't have the skills and competencies, or are unwilling to acquire the skills and competencies required to make change happen. So these things are the first set of things that leadership must do in the process of strategic change management. The second dimension of strategy from a change management perspective is building a dissatisfaction with the status quo. Communicating to people in your organization that where you are right now is not where you should be. Showing them with numbers, perhaps your revenues are shrinking, perhaps the margins are shrinking, perhaps you're losing market share, perhaps the consumer dynamics is changing. You need to let people know that if you stay in this current situation, the company over time will become irrelevant, so we need to move. The third element of this whole process is communicating a compelling vision of a new state of affairs. No matter how dissatisfied people are with an existing situation, if you don't show them a better place to head for, they're not likely to want to make that move. And so management, leadership must be able to paint a compelling picture of a better place, such that when you create a dissatisfaction with where you are right now, people can see where we're trying to head to, and then we can make that move together. The final element, within the context of strategy execution, in the context of change management, is putting a process in place for ensuring that this change happens, that this strategy gets implemented. Strategy is a process. It takes time. It involves the deployment of a lot of resources, both human and non-human, financial and otherwise. And so you need to break down this whole process into bits of activities. In other words, you must have a program for executing strategy. You must have programs, activities with themes around them and teams that can make these things happen. There has to be also clear-cut agendas. There has to be clear-cut outcomes that you're looking for within a specific timelines. And people need to be measured and need to be rewarded for achieving those outcomes within timelines that are being defined. So if you look at strategy from these 4 perspectives, good leadership, creating a dissatisfaction with the status quo, creating a compelling vision of where you want to get to and putting a process in place to make it happen, then you're likely to be successful with the design and execution of strategy over time.